Have you ever noticed that whenever someone wants to prove a point or to motivate an audience, they start their thought with a famous quote? It's like no one's ready to go out on a limb or throw their head on a chopping block. It's so much easier to hide behind the big words of some mover and shaker of yesteryear. Or maybe it's because with the world we live in today, you could just Google search a good quote and find the words that sound closest to what you want to say. Kind of like going into one of those old greeting card shops and looking for someone else's perfect words for $2.49 or $3.52 or however much it costs nowadays. Now, anyway, I'll try not to get carried away, but don't get lost in all this, because the story you're about to watch unfold is a tale of risk and reward. This is a story of 4 college seniors who realized that if they wanted something, they'd have to go out and grab it themselves. It's an example of going out on a limb and putting your head on the chopping block. And interestingly enough, it's a story centered around an old greeting card shop. It's senioritis. Wait, guys, what are we calling this thing? The real story starts with a locked room in the basement of a building on the SUNY Cortland campus. What's so special about this room, you may ask, or at least wonder? Well, behind it exists the video technology of a small production studio. In a closet locked in the back corner exist cameras and recording equipment, the likes of which most college students in the field wait their entire undergrad careers to use. I tell you, my friends, it's a shrine to the young video scholars at this upstate campus community. But as I said, it's locked, so you'll have to take my word for it. Down the hall exists another room, and I say that with great exaggeration, because as you can see, this room is nothing more than a glorified closet. It smells like foam and the heat is unbearable, even during the cold, brutal winters that pummel the Cortland community. It is a windowless cave with the air circulation of a tide balloon, and it is the home of our protagonists. Meet Dave, Matt, Brian, and Jeremy. They make up Senioritis Productions. What is senioritis? Well, Urban Dictionary defines senioritis as follows. Senioritis, noun, a crippling disease that strikes seniors. Symptoms include laziness, an over-excessive wearing of track pants, old athletic shirts, sweatpants, athletic shorts, and sweatshirts. Also features a lack of studying, repeated absences, and a generally dismissive attitude. The only known cure is a phenomenon known as graduation. So, in this case, I think it's safe to say the name is derived from pure irony.
We came up with the idea of an independent study that would get us access to the equipment that we wanted to use.
We decided to put on a student art show, make a collaborative piece to contribute to the art show and some of our own. So all of us, we divided up what we would want to do.
All right, let's slow things down a bit. I'm afraid things were just a little more complicated than that. You see, what the guys haven't really explained is that this isn't really the typical coursework for a Cortland communications student. In fact, because the coursework isn't even offered, the guys had to go right there and create it themselves.
We decided, we want to make a documentary of us, putting together films and whatnot. And so we bring it to Doc Hollenbach, and he says, boring.
We realized after talking to him that he had a lot of questions, which, caused us to have a lot of questions about exactly where we were going to take this project.
And we came out with the project that we actually ended up doing.
The 4 of us would put on an event, which happened to be an art gallery.
We bring this new idea to Doc, and he goes, I like it. We decided, we want to do it endowed. We're going to try to get some sponsors. It's going to be a multimedia art show.
The team quickly discovered that the professors at Cortland were excited to support a project of this nature, and that there could be a tremendous amount to learn by participating in an independent study.
The independent study is intended for people that want to go one more step.
It's a positive experience. You have, like-minded people that you've taken coursework with.
It takes discipline. You don't set somebody off on an independent study track if it doesn't look like they have a real clear idea of what you're going.
It's just one way of learning how to network, one way of learning how to create new learning environments and new spaces to be creative, and those things are constantly going.
So with all the T's crossed and I's dotted on their paperwork, Senioritis Production was officially underway. They had the support of the faculty, and with their advice in mind, the team set out to begin their project.
we started talking to people, artists. You know, that was a major thing, was getting artists.
I finally get in contact with the director of the gallery. He gets back to me a week later and he says, "But hey, there's something going on. You guys can have it."
With the Dowd Gallery booked, the team started moving on their project. They started their PR campaign, they began filming their collective piece, and they began the long process of recording a studio album. But like in any story worth telling, things soon began to unravel.
So we had our midterm meeting with Brian Thomas, Doc Homback, and Vaughn Randall, Brian Thomas's boss.
How do I say this? There might be more appropriate venues for it.
There actually might be more effective.
More effective.
venues.
Yeah.
Again, my naivete was that I could make that decision because the gallery wasn't really being used anyway. Or if it doesn't end up working out, I want to work with you guys to figure out where is another good place
Another
to
good
go.
venue for it, yeah.
Because I'm not going to cut you guys and say, no, you're not in. Good luck. I like the
Downtown, if it was
two
my project,
downtown.
I'd be shooting for downtown. That's our outreach gallery. It works pretty well. I mean, it's a small space. There's also some areas that we have for special projects, or what we jokingly refer to as the hall gallery. It's just in the bottom of Old Main, and you have to ask yourself, is your audience going to come up and see the piece in the Dowd Gallery, or is the audience more likely to be seeing it downtown?
After that meeting, we were a little discouraged because we didn't really know where to go.
I think we made a pretty good presentation, but they respectfully declined.
It took more than half of the semester to complete the first third.
And we get told yes, we're all jacked up, ready to go, start getting to work, and then, the brakes just get slammed.
Two of the suggestions were the Beard Gallery, which is a smaller student-run gallery on Main Street, and then another building next door, which they called the Hallmark Store.
So that day, I went down to the Hallmark building.
We just thought, this is it. This is our place. This would be perfect for what we're trying to do.
So they're like, all right, let's have a meeting. By now, the four of us are like, meetings, let's do it. DVD presentation, no sweat.
Once again, the team geared up for another presentation.
I don't think I've ever been at a better meeting. I definitely think we knocked that out of the park.
They seemed to like it a lot, and they let us use the building for a whole weekend.
And with the venue finally secured, the team found that their project really began rolling. Our biggest problem was that the artists that we had been talking to throughout the semester had a lot of the leads had gone cold, so to speak.
Countless text messages, Facebook posts on people's walls, and any possible way I could think of to get in touch with them.
Meanwhile, we had a lot of space in the gallery that needed to be covered up because this was an old retail store and it didn't look like a gallery.
Once people saw that we had the building, that we'd held up our end of the bargain, that's when they came in to help.
With the artists impressed and the art finally pouring in, the senioritis team began setting up the show.
Initially when we got in there, we realized that, the place it wasn't in bad shape, but it definitely needed to be cleaned, and, some of the furniture moved, and, various things like that.
Before they knew it, the old building was brimming with new life. And then, to everyone's surprise and pleasure, the show began. And what a show it was.
Artwork is amazing. Didn't know there was this much talent in art around here.
I think it's great. I never knew that this space existed, so that was like a new thing for me. And yeah, thus far it's going good. We got our hula hoops down. We were able to do our thing and promote our club as well as attend your event. So it's been great.
It's really awesome that it's all arranged by students, made up of student work, like totally outside of the school, you know? It's really cool to see that.
I don't know, it feels like connected, like students are doing stuff for students, and you know, we're getting out here, people are coming in, like people we haven't like seen before, played in front of, so.
And I like how the stage is downstairs and you can go down and listen to music, then come up and see all this art and just be to yourself and just have a good time.
I was real pleased with the gallery showing myself, and when I came down and took a look at things, and I thought that the arrangement that you had with them to make use of the space in a positive way was really good.
There's a level of excitement. There's great work hung on the walls. There was all different types of things going on.
The idea of having the other venue in the basement or downstairs where people could go and see things and hear concerts, so that there was a variety of different stuff. That was one of the things that impressed me most about it, was the variety of different things you had there.
Walking by, it had been dead. It was a vacant storefront, and for just a couple of days it was magical because there was art, and people who potentially never ever would go into a proper gallery got to see works of art.
Seeing everybody come together, like for the bands and everything. Like some bands backed out, but some bands came last minute and really just worked out. Like in 2 days we had over 7 performances in the basement.
It was really great to just, see our peers interacting with each other and, enjoying themselves,
No one really expected something of such high caliber to come out of students, and including myself.
For me, that was the most rewarding thing, that somebody off the street, out of the Cortland community just came in and was turned on by what we did.
And like that, everything was over. The crew disassembled the show and began cleaning up the remains of their creation. And as the last of the boxes were packed away, ready to go back into the cramped little closets and Dowd, the crew gave the building one more look and went their separate ways.
You all took it upon yourself, and I think that that's a different kind of learning model, and it's one that I really embrace.
If you want to learn about, certain things, go out and do it, and know that it'll all be rewarding in the end.
What I got out of this experience is so much more than, what I could have ever hoped to get out of, just sitting in class and reading a textbook.
To be able to get, any owner of a building to open up the building so that you would be able to do this is really significant, because most people are not going to turn, a property over to even the most mature college student.
If you really try to do something and you show people that you're passionate about it and that you're really making an effort to give it your all, then most of the time they'll probably help you out and it'll probably turn out pretty good.
Because of that experience, people have at the more professional level have been thinking, well, maybe we should try to do this. You've actually sparked conversations I've heard in different organizations throughout the community because there was an impact that was made.
Don't be afraid to go out and do an independent study and learn what you want to learn, because ultimately that's why you're here. You're here to learn, you're here to grow.
What I think is truly important is the spirit of learning and creativity. And if you keep those two spirits alive, no matter what your obstacle is, you could be working at McDonald's and have a spirit and have a great spirit about learning and stuff. It makes some incredible things as long as you have that passion and keep the drive.
Think of the most ambitious project you could think of and find the people that you want to do it with, and then between the small group of you, do it and go out there and do it. And if this is any evidence of being able to do it, then take it and enjoy this story just for the idea that you can do what you want to do.
I guess if you want a Jerry Springer final thought, okay, you're not open, it's serious.
Let me start that over. It sounded stupid.
Like, if you want to do something that you just feel like, how would I ever do that? It's really probably not as hard as you would think. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't even. That's not your fault. I just diarrheaed out of my mouth.
Alright.
I mean, the only limits that there are is in your own head.
You're doing fine.
Really?
Just keep going. It's. You guys are putting.
And I just think that we did this with no money and really no prior experience. Yes. No prior experience.
Just take, cut. Take it again.
Oh, what the is that? What's that? Oh, wonderful. Anthony, would you like to describe the smell that permeates in this area?